Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around we had The Promised World, where basically Mars and Fanzel lured Ladros, that was his name, lured him over to where Asta was, and however, instead of using Asta to deal with him, instead he absorbed Fauna's fire, and it was too much for him. And then Mars obviously recognized Fauna and tried to break through to her, and him and Asta did the best they can to break through to her eventually. Mars getting over to her, giving her a big ol' hug, and snapping her out of it. And yeah, now she's good Fauna again. She's happy, adorable Fauna now, instead of crazy psychopath Fauna. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nice, short, succinct recap. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. We don't need to be tasting underage girls, all right? Let's just put that out there. Boy, if you like didn't watch the actual reaction, you just went from the intro to the thing to this, it's just like no context, like, oh, that sounds bad. But we're not doing that. We're not tasting. I'm gonna stop. Man, this dude sucks. I mean, he's fine. Obviously he's fine. He's a good villain. It's like, man, this guy's so fucking annoying. You know the thing? I think it's partly his voice. His voice is really annoying. I think, obviously, that's on purpose, I think, you know? I mean, just the fact that this dude can't even say an attack in a cool way, you know? Just comes up, million lasers! And it's just like, oh my god. This dude is not intimidating at all, you know? At least with Mars. Mars was pretty intimidating, you know? I mean, but it's the same thing of, like, with Veto, where it's like, Veto was intimidating, but he also, oh god, he got really annoying as that arc went on, you know? This dude is just, like, Diet Veto, basically. I mean, Ladros is, like, one step away from being a Jujutsu Kaisen villain. Like, he's so annoying. The difference is that unlike the villains in Jujutsu Kaisen who were just annoying and awful and terrible and fuck that show, I hate it, Ladros gets his ass kicked, you know, and I like that. That's the thing. If you're going to have them be annoying, you have to balance it out with getting their asses kicked. And he did, because he got that sword lodged straight into him, so. I love that Asta's level of thinking is quite honestly on par with mine, where the idea is throw the sucky sword. You know, it's like the movie Twister. You're gonna be taken to the suck zone. Hit that, and then it's like, oh well, now that he's down, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I'm just gonna hit you with this thing. Just take the bigger sword, just whack him until you knock him out. You know. Like, that's a great idea. Let's do that, you know? Oh, boy. But it's great. It's great. But, unfortunately, he did absorb the last of Fauna's powerful magic, which I thought maybe he was just going to explode. Like, he just couldn't take it, but I guess he can, but now Asta seems to be awakening. The Queen of the Witches pushed that forward. It's just like, you're due for an anime transformation. Let me just get that started for you, you know? It's like the plot of Dragon Ball Daima, you know? It's just so... he's so goofy, you know? And just that whole thing of like, oh, there are friends that don't exist. There's only two people in this world. Those who get used and those who use others, you know? And just like, that's how I climbed my way to the top. And it's like, well, okay, I don't think you're at the top, really. But, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Here's the thing. This is why this dude is not, like, a 10 to 15 episode length villain, you know? Like, you can get away with that with Veto. You kind of got away with that with Fauna a little bit with how long she was there, but it's like, Ladros, it's like, alright, this is some dude that we gotta just deal with, some arrogant prick that we gotta deal with, you know? But he is strong. I'll give him the credit that he is strong, you know? And because his powers are pretty simple, you know? He just absorbs magic, and yeah, when he doesn't have that anymore, suddenly he has to think on his feet, which he did, you know? He had to think on his feet. He did, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. You know, okay, actually I do kind of know what it is. Because, you know, watching Ladros, I'm just like, this is honestly the type of villain I don't like, you know? I think I did figure it out, though. The problem with villains like this is that they either don't interact with the hero, or they don't interact well with the hero. And I think that's the problem, is like, if you're going to do this arrogant, sort of pompous, I'm so much better than you villain, they have to work off the hero really well. That's why Dio works, you know? Because Dio works off of both Jonathan and Jotaro within JoJo. So does every other villain, basically, you know? None of them are quite as pompous as Dio is. Dio is his own special level, but that's the thing with, like, all JoJo villains, and that's probably why I didn't like the villains in Jujutsu Kaisen, is, like, they just don't interact with the heroes, and when they do, they're just not good. It's not interesting. It's not fun, you know? Whereas here, Ladros, I will at least give credit that his interactions with Asta were good, you know? Where it's just like, I'm just the best and I'm the greatest, and then Asta just throws a fucking sword into his shoulder, and he's like, oh, he just falls. He just falls, and then he's desperate, and it's like, that works, you know? That works, so there it is. I figured it out. I figured out my problems with Jujutsu Kaisen. Finally, after like a year. After an entire year, I finally figured out why I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll never get over it. That's going to be my white whale. Is that and the end of Attack on Titan, I think. It's like Jujutsu Kaisen, the end of Attack on Titan, and Season 6 of My Hero Academia. Those are my anime white whales. There's a lot of them, I know. That would be like if... I guess I don't know the plot of Moby Dick necessarily, because I never read it, but I'm assuming he kills the whale. And maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But it would be like if Moby Dick was like Jaws, you know? Where it's like, well, you have Moby Dick, and then you have Moby Dick again, you know? You gotta have Moby Dick 2, you know? Where there are more whales that are trying to get revenge on you or something, you know? That's what those three anime are, is a fake sequel to Moby Dick that doesn't exist. That's what those anime are. I should put that on Twitter. Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia are sequels, are like sequels to Moby Dick that didn't happen. Yeah. Put that, you know what, if you guys, hey, if you're out there and you need a high school quote if you need a senior quote, although I get the feeling that you guys aren't in high school. I don't know. I would say sound off, but that might be weird, so you don't have to, obviously, but I just kind of assume that the people watching this channel are people around my age, so... Like, we're all the fanzels of YouTube. We're all the 28-year-olds, you know, or somewhere around. Obviously, you can be a bit older, a bit younger, but I just generally assume that people watching me are probably around my age, but I don't know. But yeah, if you ever need to put a quote on something, there you go. Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia are basically sequels to Moby Dick that never happened. Even within that quote, it doesn't make any sense, but they're my white whales. But Ladros, let's get back to Ladros. Let's get back to Black Clover, a good anime. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's just so annoying. It's definitely partly the voice actor, which obviously he's doing a really good job, but just his voice is so annoying, you know. But it works. It works. We did also get a bit of Fauna. What happened after supposedly dying is she didn't die. She did survive just enough. And the Diamond Kingdom started to experiment on her, but then it just didn't work. So they were going to leave her to die, and that's when Licht showed up. Licht. Man showed up and put a different soul into her. I mean, that's the thing, because he looks at her and is like, "Oh, you're my old friend," except you're not. It's just like, from what I would imagine is that, because they also pointed out like that Gauche may have also been one of the elves. Like, if I were to guess, it's that all of the elves were reborn. Basically, they were reincarnated into new people, but now Licht is basically going through and putting the original souls back into their bodies. You know, it's like Inuyasha. I say this, I have not finished watching Inuyasha. I don't even know how far I am anymore. I take like month-long breaks between watching Inuyasha, and right now I can't really do it because I've got such a heavy anime season going on. We got My Dress Up Darling, we got The Rascal Does Not Dream Season 2, we got Sakamoto Days Season 2. I'm watching another anime from like last season that I didn't watch, so I don't know. But like every 6 months or so, I watch a batch of Inuyasha episodes. But it's kind of like that, where it's like, you know, you have Kagome, and, you know, Kagome is the reincarnation of Kikyo in the modern day. But then she goes back in time, and then there's Kikyo, and they try to put Kikyo's soul, I think that's it. I also pretty sure her name was Kikyo, and they're trying to put her soul into Kagome's body. So that was the plot of Inuyasha, I think. At some point it was. So that's kind of what he's doing here, is that he's basically finding their reincarnations when these elves were basically reborn as humans, which is an interesting thing. I wonder if they'll go into why they were all reborn seemingly as humans. Like, was it to give them a better life? You know, it's like, well, you know, it's not that they're completely lost. They are born again, but now he's basically putting their souls into... He's basically putting the old souls of the elves into these human bodies. So I don't know, but it's interesting. It's really interesting. So we'll have to see. We'll also have to see if we're going to be getting the the magic stone, you know, because in all technicality, this is a completely unsanctioned mission. Like, this was not like, we weren't sent here to like retrieve the magic stone or anything. We just happened to go to the Forest of the Witches and then run into not only the terrorist group, you know, the Eye of the Midnight Sun, but also run into the Diamond Kingdom. It's like, all of this is unofficial, you know? Like, are we going to get in trouble for causing this much stuff, you know, this much strife with... I don't know, or are we just doing our jobs, you know? We were there, like, we didn't intend to go fight them, but they came to attack the Forest of the Witches, and, you know, as the Magic Knights, it was our duty to protect them from the attackers, you know? I don't know if we're going to go into that, but it'll be interesting to see, definitely. Of course, I'm talking like this arc is already done. We still have to fight Ladros, but I don't know. And then, you know, we had the Queen basically being like, oh, I thought Asta was one of the descendants. Maybe not, but let me see what's really going on. You know, who are you? So, I don't know. Is she questioning, like, is he a descendant of the elves? Or is it something else? I don't know. See, there's a part of me that almost wants to, like... I don't know. Is there going to be some big Chosen One thing revealed about Asta? Or are they going to go with, like, he's just a normal person who just happened to get this specific grimoire and these swords, you know? I don't know. I kind of hope he kind of stays pretty normal. Like, I don't really want him to have this big destiny thing. But, I don't know. Because, I mean, it's more interesting if you just have this character who, you know, picks himself up by his bootstraps, you know, and is able to overcome all this stuff. Like, that's more interesting than just a Chosen One. So, I don't know. It'll depend. It'll depend on how this... Maybe there was supposed to be a chosen one, and the book just went to Asta instead. Wouldn't that be funny? You know? I don't know. We'll have to see. We will definitely have to see. But good stuff. I'm curious to see where we're going next time. But with all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.